Well, it's spring training time around the MLB, and there are some players that are still unsigned, unsure where they want to go, what is going on with their career, if they even want to play again. But the White Sox have made a signing today. Welcome back to Clemhawks. I'm Gillis TV, and if you're new to the channel and like anything MLB related about any team, news, rumors, trades, injuries, whatever, there's going to be some live streams as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as we are only 73 away from our goal of 4,100, and there's a little bit of NASCAR from Clemhawks himself on the channel too. So the White Sox have announced the signing and confirmed the 1-year, $3 million deal with infielder Elvis Andrus, per Jeff Passan reported it of ESPN. The contract will become official when Andrew passes his physical, and USA Today Bob Nightingale adds that Andrews will earn a $3 million salary. Andrews is represented by the Boras Corporation. Andrews returned to the south side of Chicago after hitting .271 over 191 plate appearances with the White Sox last season. Released by the A's in August, the Sox quickly inked Andrews as a shortstop replacement for Tim Anderson, who ended up missing the rest of the season due to a torn hand ligament. While only over a small sample size, Andrews' performance with the White Sox marked his best offensive surge in years, as the veteran had struggled at the plate during the end of his tenure with the Rangers and for much of his 2 seasons in Oakland. So we're going to get to stats here before I keep reading this. And, looking at Andrew's stats, he's 34 as of right now. In 535 plate appearances last season, he hit .249, which is pretty average for today's game with the velocity going up, a lot of things considered. That is pretty much the average. The superstars, of course, hit 300. But Elvis Andrus is that type of guy who's a complementary player who can do a little bit of everything in the infield defensively and at the plate. So like I said, he hit .249, which is below his career average, but with age things tend to die down. And he had 17 home runs. That's the little bit of everything he can do with 58 RBIs, and he still stole 18 bases as a 33, 34-year-old last season, which you don't see that very often. So he still has the capability to get on base, steal base, hit extra base hits, and whatnot. Over the course of his career, he's had 7,398 at-bats for that .270 average, which, if he could get to that with the White Sox this year, White Sox will have a complimentary player. He only has 96 home runs in his career, 17 of them, of course, coming last season, but he has 731 RBIs. Not known for the home run power. He can hit a home run here or there, but it's going to be that solid contact, hit grass kind of playing style that Elvis Andrus likes to play. He had 731 RBIs in the course of his career and a whopping 335 stolen bases. So, really defensive player with some upside on the offensive side. Getting on base, getting those extra base hits is going to help the White Sox this year for sure. Especially if he's coming off the bench from time to time. If it's a rest day, hey, we got a guy in scoring position, bottom of the ninth, 2 out. We need to put speed on the base. He's your guy to do that. With Anderson now back and healthy, the White Sox will use Andrews as a regular second baseman. This is the first position change in Andrews' 14-year MLB career, as he exclusively played shortstop with a handful of DH games over his 1,947 MLB games. Andrews has made exactly 1 professional appearance at a second baseman, and it happened way back in his first pro season of 2005 with the Atlanta Braves rookie ball affiliate. Lack of experience notwithstanding, there probably isn't much doubt that Andrews can handle the new position, given that he was still posting quality defensive numbers as per UZR that slash 150 and outs above average metrics as a shortstop as recently as 2022. It is certainly possible Andrews' glove work will be even better at the second base position, which is easier than shortstop, which gives the White Sox a defensive boost heading into the season with the new anti-shift rules coming into play. The signing addressed a problem position for the Sox that has lingered all offseason. Chicago signed Hanser Alberto, Eric Gonzalez, and Nate Mondeau to minor league contracts, yet neither represented any real upgrade to second base position that generated only a 0.3 B WAR for the White Sox over the entire 2022 season. With Andrus now in the fold, longtime utility man Larry Garcia can now be used in any usual multi-position role, and more inexperienced options like Rami Gonzalez and Lean Sosa can now compete for bench jobs and get more seasoning in the minor leagues. The $3 million outlay for Andrus bumped Chicago's payroll roughly to $189.1 million as per roster resource. This is a little less than the approximately $193 the White Sox spent last year, though GM Rick Hahn indicated back in November the club was planning on having around the same payroll as it did in 2022. Some reports suggest the Sox would even try to cut their payroll down to $180 million, though that plan may have been abandoned in the light of rising free agent costs and a relatively lack of league-wide action on the trade market. If the Sox were in contention at midseason, owner Jerry Reinsdorf could possibly okay another payroll bump for a trade deadline addition, even if it probably is safe to assume that the real spending splurge isn't coming. The Angels and Red Sox were the only teams publicly known to have interest in Andrus this winter, with Boston emerging in the wake of Trevor Story's internal brace surgery on his right elbow. There was obviously a lot of action on the shortstop market this offseason, but once the big names of Turner, Bogarts, Correa, and Swanson all signed their contracts, remaining teams with shortstop needs seemed more willing to test out internal options rather than pursue a veteran like Andrus. Becoming a second baseman might reflect the reality of the market for Andrus, or he might have just preferred an everyday role at a new position and in a familiar environment rather than remain at a shortstop on a new team, but it's more of a part-time compatibility. So, this is a great signing by the White Sox. Sorry, I mumbled there a bit. Just woke up. It's been a long night with 3 kids. But this is a good signing by the Chicago White Sox where they get a familiar face. They know what he can do. He's going to do good things for them. Even if it's at second base, a new position to him. With that anti-shift, he's a really good defensive player that should help them out. But hey, I'm Gillis TV. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm on out of here.